heading towards the Monster Energy Arch. 1 minute now to the start of the senior race, and it's such an important event here on the Isle of Man. Where else in the world would you have a bank holiday for a road race? But we do here. Senior race day. Most people are off and enjoying the barbecues and the sandwiches and the sausages in the BAP and everything else as they now prepare. They've probably done a lot of cooking today, more than they were expecting to do. But I can see David Johnson with 30 seconds approaching to the start. And David Johnson there on the Norton, the silver machine, that's going to be flying down Glen Crutchley Road and down towards Bray Hill and out to Quarterbridge very, very shortly indeed. Then it's Bruce Anstey. 15 seconds to go. And then we've got James Hillier. James Hillier, a few issues with the bike. They've been working on that in the meantime, but let's give it the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2. The revs go up on the Norton. 1, blast off again. Part 2 of Poker Stars Senior TT. And a swift start from David Johnson there as he disappears. And now we've got number 2, Bruce Anstey on the very special Honda. Just a lovely, lovely noise as it heads away. James Hillier now on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki. No number 4, of course, with Ian Hutchinson in that spill, and at Nobles Hospital, conscious with that broken femur. We wish him once again well. And, of course, no John McGuinness on the grid, so it is the Bennett Suzuki of Michael Dunlop, and a very good point that Chris Kinley was making. Open road ahead of him with Hillier, Anstey and Johnson already down, and the usual start over to the right hand side, leaning out off the bike on the left hand side, and then straightens up. Here's Connor, pulled in the super stock with that wrist injury troubling him, but he seemed pretty much on song in the first part of the race here. So no Guy Martin, of course. Honda Racing, it seems an eternity ago that we were talking to Johnny Twelvetrees about Guy pulling out, but there is Dean Harrison safely away on the Silicone Engineering Kawasaki, and the man who is leading at the end of lap 2, and it is Peter Hickman, Smith's Racing. And that looked very business-like there from Peter Hickman, the 4 podiums in the week. Michael Rutter on the Superstock bike, saying that the Superbike was pulling his arms off in the first run of this race here. Gary Johnson on the ReactiveParts.com Suzuki lifts the feet onto the peg, and away he goes under the footbridge. No number 13, but so good to hear Lee Johnston talking there on the start line to Chris Kinley. And next it will be the Pens 13 BMW of Dan Neen. Just drags the feet behind him, changes of gear. Away is the Manxman William Dunlop, who was quickest of all at the Sulby Speed Trap. So that Yamaha is singing. Here's the second of the Nortons, Josh Brooks. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful to hear that going off the line. And he was ahead of his teammate on the first run. Steve Mercer is safely away on the Dafabet Kawasaki. Martin Jessup is next on the Riders Motorcycles BMW. A little nod of the head as he heads away there. Daniel Hegarty on the Top Gun Racing Honda is over a little bit more towards Gasoline Alley and then straightens up. Does Daniel. Here's Ivan Linton, second of the Dafabet Kawasaki's, and now number 28 is next to go. Just puts the visor down as he sets off there. Derek Shields and the Burroughs Engineering Racing Suzuki. Jamie Coward, number 29, now away right down the white line. Little hop of the front wheel as he goes past. Dan Stewart will be next on the Wilcock Consulting BMW. Throaty noise as it heads away. And now Horst Zeiger off at the gooseneck with OK and enjoyed the scenery on the coastal road on the way back. Phil Crow is next on the hand trans, Fleetwood Grab, Shepak BMW, number 36. And now number 30, Sam West, birthday boy today. Neatly away is Sam West. James Cowton's next on the McAdoo Racing Kawasaki. But let's go to Glen Helen and Dave Christian.
Yeah, we're in business here, Tim. The first machine just flashes into view now. Flick to the right. He's being caught, though. Davo Johnson is being reeled in by Bruce Anstey. That gap is bigger than it was on the first run. I think by the first run, Bruce had got 6 seconds clear of him. He's nearly 8 now, so Bruce obviously off to another flyer. James Hillier comes through here. James Hillier tucks in behind Bruce Anstey, but Bruce is nearly 2 seconds quicker than him here on that opening sector. But it is Bruce with the hammer down early on. He looks like he's a little bit sharper than he was first time out, and that will make for an interesting scrap with Peter Hickman. Little bit of a gap now as we wait the next man on the road, which should be Michael Dunlop. It is Michael Dunlop. That's quite a fast approach as well. That's a drift wide, gets the power on, feeds it in up towards Sarah's, and Dunlop takes the lead. So it's Michael Dunlop now in front. And next man on the road should be the big guy. It is the big guy, Connor Cummins. No problems there from Connor, but doesn't take top spot into fourth, just ahead of Davo Johnson at the moment. But we got Dean Harrison, Peter Hickman, Michael Rutter to come. He is the first of that bunch. It's Dean Harrison. Nice and tidy. He was in very tight to that wall there. Harrison now drops into third, but he's very, very close to Bruce Anstey. And there's Hickman. Hickman fourth fastest on the opening sector, but we are only talking fractions of seconds here. It's Dunlop leads Anstey by 1 second as Michael Rutter sweeps through the left-hander. That's a great looking bike. Rutter just into fifth position temporarily. Dunlop leads Anstey by a second. Dean Harrison is in third, and he is 9,000ths of a second behind Anstey. That's how close this opening sector is. There's 12, Gaz Johnson, safely through here on his opening lap, but not making an impression on the top end. Eighth quickest so far is Gary Johnson. Next on the road should be Dan Neen. It looks like Dan Neen, and it is Dan Neen. Nice and tidy as well from Dan Neen, but he's just a little bit slower than Connor. Drops into 8th position. Number 14, Dan Neen. William Dunlop through now. William Dunlop, again, he just goes ahead of Dan Neen as well. Pushes Neen down to 9th. That's number 15, William Dunlop. And here's Josh Brooks. Brooks was going well in that first run. He was up to 8th place at Glen Helen on lap 2, but he holds 10th at the moment, but we are still only early days, and the gaps between the top 8, 9, 10 are down to less than a second, and sometimes less than that. 17 and 18 is Martin Jessup and Steve Mercer together on the road. They swing their way around this long left-hander and make that climb up towards Cronkervuddy. Martin Jessup currently 10th position and Steve Mercer 14th. But Michael Dunlop in the restart, he's the man to look for. As 19 comes through, there's Dan Hegarty. He's made it safely here to Glen Helen on the opening lap. Next man in, down a gearbox, and he comes out. It's Ivan Linton. Good solid performance from Ivan so far. 28 is right behind him though on the road. 28 Derek Shields. He'll go ahead of Ivan Linton on corrected time, and Derek Shields up to 14th at the moment. That's 29. That is Jamie Coward. And we've seen him on a little feature on ITV4, the Ratliff Butchers team. That was on earlier in the week, Tuesday or Wednesday night, if my memory serves me correctly. 21 through, Dan Stewart. And nice and neat and tidy from Dan as well, but well off the pace of the top guns. As Horst Zeiger, obviously back up and running again after his spill on the opening run. But the leaderboard at Glen Helen on lap 1 of this restart of PokerStars Senior TT. Michael Dunlop leads In second place, number 2, Bruce Anstey, who's a second down on Dunlop. In third place, number 9, Dean Harrison. He is 9 thousandths of a second down on Anstey. In fourth place, number 10, Peter Hickman, who is 1 second down on Harrison. And in fifth place, number 11, Michael Rutter, who is a fifth of a second down on Hickman. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Top 7 unchanged at Ballaugh Bridge. Michael Dunlop 1.6 seconds ahead of number 2 Bruce Anstey, who's fractionally ahead of Dean Harrison. Additional non-starters, number 50 Marco Pagani, number 45 Jim Hodson, and number 74 Anthony Redmond. Hickman just 0.2 down behind Dean Harrison in fourth position. Harrison is just 0.092 of a second behind Bruce Anstey, but Dunlop at Ballaugh Bridge leads by 1.679 of a seconds. Michael Rutter fifth. He's 2.8 down on Hickman. In sixth, it's Hillier, 1.6 down on Rutter. Connor Cummins just 0.777 down on James Hillier. Dan Neen is in eighth. Ninth is number 18, Martin Jessup. William Dunlop is in 10th position, number 15. And David Johnson is just 0.6 ahead of Josh Brooks in the Battle of the Nortons. Let's go to Roy Moore at Ramsey Hairpin.
Polka Stars Senior TT take 2. We're expecting Bruce Anstey very, very shortly indeed. Is he sweeping out? Is he on a charge? He's very, very quick down through the box, but right behind him is that number 1, so he's overtaken him already on the road, and it goes quite wide. Back end chattering of the Norton there, but up the left hand comes for number 1 David Johnson, and just takes that speckled what will be on the run through the western side. Third man here at Ramsey Hairpin now, number 3 James Hillier. So it's going to be close, going to be tight. Bruce Anstey heads it at the moment, but we're waiting for Michael Dunlop to come. 1.679 was the difference at Ballaugh Bridge. What will it be here at Ramsey? Michael Dunlop is through, and he's had a bit of a quick... He's flying. Michael Dunlop is absolutely flying out of Stella Maris. Takes it round, and he's determined on this one. There's nothing going to stop him. He's 2 seconds ahead. 2.891 now from... he's made a second from the run from Ballaugh Bridge here to Ramsey, but he's had to, because Bruce Anstey is flying as well. Bruce Anstey holding on to second, but that could change with the arrival of Dean Harrison. Here's Connor now. Connor Cummins into Ramsey, number 7. That distinctive white fairing off the Paget machine goes round, and he just really opens it up. Here's Dean Harrison now. Dean Harrison is into Ramsey, but it looks as though we're going to expect Peter Hickman now. Has he upped the pace from the run to? He certainly has, because Peter Hickman is up into second now. He's here scraping the fairing of the bike as it goes round, and he too not hanging back on that right hand as it goes up. Michael Dunlop by 2 seconds here at Ramsey from number 10, Peter Hickman. Bruce Anstey only 0.8 of a second down though, and Michael Rutter got it lovely and sideways coming in on that super stocker, and it's shown, it's reflected. He's holding on to 5th place because he's just behind Dean Harrison, but only by 4 seconds. But Dean Harrison is only half a second down on Bruce Anstey. So that is lap number 1 here at Ramsey Hairpin. James Hillier Connor Cummins drops to 6th, and James Hillier 7th. And there is number 12 here with us now. That's Gary Johnson. So Gary Johnson safely through. He's going good guns as well. But Dan Neen, number 14, he's the next machine into view. That distinctive style, and he too backs the Pence 13 into Ramsey Hairpin. You could hear that. The tyre effect would be right by the effects microphone. And it looks as though Dan Neen is 9th here at Ramsey, but he's only a 0.1 of a second down on Dan Neen is holding on to ninth. He's only 0.1 of a second down on David Johnson, and that's the other Norton you can hear going through, Josh Brooks, and just before him it was William Dunlop who'd gone through. So that gives us an opportunity now. Josh Brooks through with Gary Johnson, Josh Brooks. Martin Jessup would be the next one that we would expect to be here. So we'll give you a rundown off the top 10, because here is Martin Jessup now into Ramsey hairpin. Some lovely black lines getting left down on the tarmac here. Michael Dunlop by 2 seconds at Ramsey from Peter Hickman. In third place now it's Bruce Anstey, just 0.8 of a second down on Peter Hickman. Fourth for number 9 Dean Harrison, 0.2 down on Bruce Anstey. Fifth place number 11 Michael Rutter, 4.5 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Sixth for number 7 Connor Cummins, 3.5 seconds down on Michael Rutter. Seventh for number 3 James Hillier, 0.3 down on Connor Cummins. Eighth for number 1 David Johnson, 3 seconds down on Hillier. Ninth for 14 Dan Neen, 0.1 only down on David Johnson. 10th for number 15 William Dunlop, 1.5 seconds down on Dan Neen. 11th for number 19, 18, that changes a bit I think, Martin Jessup it is, yeah. In 11th place 18 Martin Jessup, a fraction of a second down on William Dunlop. That puts in 12th position number 16 Josh Brooks. He's a fraction of a second down on Martin Jessup. 13th for Gary Johnson, 14th for Derek Shields. That was the last bike you heard going through there. Jamie Coward, I think, is here with us now. He's just gone through. There it is. In 15th, number 29, Jamie Coward. 16th, Dan Hegarty. On 17th place now is Phil Crow, so he's moving up. But the leader's now streaming over the mountain. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Up at the bungalow, Michael Dunlop is now 3 seconds ahead of number 10, Peter Hickman, who's 1.7 ahead of number 2, Bruce Anstey, who is just over half a second ahead of number 9, Dean Harrison. That's the top 4. Number 37, David Sellers, retired at the Glenderrick Road, perfectly okay. And we've got numbers 2 and 1. The lights on the scoreboards there. They are indicated, therefore, at Cronknamona. Bruce Anstey, though, will be ahead on the road of the Norton of David Johnson. Going back to the bungalow, and David Johnson's just 1.3 ahead in 8th of 9th place Josh Brooks in the battle of the two Nortons. Rutter is 5th at the bungalow. Then it's Connor Cummins, James Hillier up to 7th, and then it's Johnson, Brooks. Dan Neen is in 10th position. William Dunlop 11th, and Gary Johnson is in 13th. It's just gone down to, but we should be about to see our first bike come through here past the grandstand on the opening lap of the restarted Poker Stars Senior TT race. Here he is, Anstey. 131.335 it is for Anstey, as there goes David Johnson on the Norton at 129.3, and next into our view should be number 3, James Hillier. Through Governors he is, onto Glencrutchy Road, and now he's coming past us here now. And Hillier 129.814, but the race leader on every sector is here now, Michael Dunlop. Dunlop leads 132.292 on the Bennett Suzuki from a standing start. Michael Dunlop is 7.4 ahead of Anstey, but we've got to wait for Harrison and Hickman. Hickman, it was 3.9 down at Cronknamona, but he is there. Dean Harrison in 4th, 0.6 behind Anstey. Anstey 2.1 behind Hickman. Connor Cummins is through here at the grandstand now. 129.830 miles per hour for Connor Cummins. We should have Dean Harrison and Peter Hickman. Here's Harrison. Harrison 131.2. Here's Hickman. Less than 10 seconds that. Hickman goes into second place at 131.744 miles per hour. He's 4.268 seconds down on the race leader, Michael Dunlop. Should have the Super Stop bike. He swapped the bike, remember, of Michael Rutter coming through, and here he is. And he goes into 5th position. So let's give you the gaps then. It is Michael Dunlop, number 6, on that Bennett Suzuki, who leads. He's 4.2 seconds ahead of second place, number 10, Peter Hickman, on the Smiths Racing BMW. He is 3.2 ahead of in third place, number 2, Bruce Anstey, on the Padgett's Honda. He is 0.7 ahead of number 9, Dean Harrison, on the Kawasaki. Harrison is 6.9 ahead of 5th place, number 11, Michael Rutter, as Gary Johnson goes through on the Suzuki. In 6th place at the moment is Connor Cummins, bike number 7, 4.3 down on Rutter. Hillier is 0.1 down on Connor Cummins in 7th, number 3. And Dave Johnson is in currently 8th position. We've got to wait for that man though, Josh Brooks. Where does he get it? He's gone ahead of David Johnson. Josh Brooks, 129.359 miles per hour, and he's now just 0.4 ahead of his teammate David Johnson. So both the Nortons flying around the mountain course at over 129.3 miles per hour. But Michael Dunlop, what an opening lap that was, 132.292 as Martin Jessup goes through. Martin Jessup slots currently into 12th position. 10th is Dan Neen, then he's 3.6 down on David Johnson. 11th is number 15, William Dunlop, 1.4 down on Dan Neen. So 1, 2, 3 laps of 131 plus 1 just over the 132. And Michael Rutter at 130.367. Connor 129.830 miles per hour. James Hillier 129.814. Josh Brooks 129.359. David Johnson 129.300. Dan Neen 128.849 miles per hour. And completing out, we'll go to 11th, William Dunlop on that Yamaha, 128.676. Derek Shields has just gone through, and he's up into 13th. Let's go to Glen Helen and Dave Christian.
Yes, welcome back, Tim, and you're right on time. The first man on the road is Bruce Anstey. Listen to this. And he's closely followed by Davo Johnson. But Bruce well ahead on corrected time now, 17 seconds the gap between Anstey and Johnston. But there's, like I said, there's quite a few more to come in between. And here's the first one of those, James Hillier. James was in 7th place at the grandstand, and he does indeed drop in behind Anstey. But there's Michael Dunlop. Dunlop still looks like he's got the lead, and he's dealt with the restart so much better. Maybe just had an extra time to make 1 or 2 adjustments to the bike before they get her out again. But Michael Dunlop has definitely grabbed the race by the scruff of the proverbial, and he was 4 seconds in front of Peter Hickman at the grandstand. We need the number 10 to get here so we can tell you whether that's changed or not. But Michael Dunlop, nothing flashed through here. Nice and tidy, smooth, and that's, of course, everyone says the key to here. There's Connor safely through here, but Dean Harrison is catching him on the road. Dean Harrison is currently second place, but we need Peter Hickman. There is Peter Hickman. Hickman, yes, 6.2 seconds the gap now between Dunlop and Hickman. 4.2 at the grandstand, so Michael Dunlop taking another 2 seconds out of Peter Hickman in the run from the grandstand here to Glen Helen. Dean Harrison is now third. He has taken that third place from Bruce Anstey. He is 3 seconds back on Peter Hickman, and Bruce Anstey now fourth, 3 seconds down on Harrison. There's Michael Rutter. Lovely fast corner speed from Michael Rutter. 5th place for Rutter. He was 5th at the grandstand. He's 5th now, and the gap 6.9 at the grandstand, now 6.8, so there's nothing in that at all. So Michael Rutter holding station, but up ahead of them the guys are chopping and changing. There's, I think, about 13 seconds now split in the top 4, but it's Dunlop leads Hickman by 6 seconds. In 3rd place, number 9, Dean Harrison, who's 3 back on Hickman, and in 4th place, number 2, Bruce Anstey, who is 3 back on Harrison. And we pause for breath. We await the arrival of the next man on the road. Should be number 12, Gary Johnson, I think. But 2 come together. Gaz Johnson is in front there, but Dan Neen caught him on the road. Dan Neen sitting in right behind Gary Johnson on the road, knowing that he's ahead of him on corrected time. It's 15, William Dunlop safely through, and Josh Brooks gets on the power to make that climb. Brooks up to 8th position. 8th he was at the grandstand. He was 8th at the time of the red flag on the first run of this race, and he seems to be getting to grips with that Norton. So your leaderboard then is Dunlop leads Hickman, 3rd place Dean Harrison, 4th place number 2 Bruce Anstey, 5th place number 11 Michael Rutter, he's 7 seconds down on Anstey. In 6th number 3 James Hillier, he's 2 down. We'll take, I think that was Steve Mercer, wasn't it? No, Martin Jessup through here now. Where was I? James Hillier was 4 seconds down on Michael Rutter. In 7th place, number 7, Connor Cummins. He's 2 seconds down on Hillier. In 8th place, number 16, Josh Brooks. He's 3 seconds down on Cummins. In 9th place, number 1, Dave Johnson. He is 1 second down on Brooks. And in 10th place, William Dunlop. He is 5 seconds down on Dave Johnson. We take Steve Mercer and Derek Shields through here, and followed on the road by Dan Hegarty. None of those threatening the top 10. Shields currently 13th, that's where he was at the grandstand. In 14th place, number 12, Gary Johnson. 15th, number 19, Daniel Hegarty. And we won't go too far than that, because I notice Sam West is just starting to creep up the leaderboard. Sam West, number 30. Ivan Linton through now, and Jamie Coward, and Derek Shields as well, all firing their way into that top 20. But on lap 2 at Glen Helen, it is Michael Dunlop leads Peter Hickman by 6 seconds. In 3rd place, number 9, Dean Harrison. He's 3 down on Hickman. In 4th place, number 2, Bruce Anstey. He's 3 down on Harrison. And making up your top 5 is number 11, Michael Rutter, who's 7 seconds down on Anstey. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Blackbridge, I can tell you that Peter Hickman's just nibbled into that lead of Michael Dunlop. It was 6.2 at Glen Helen. It's 5.4 at Blackbridge. Astonishing news that a sub-17 for Michael Dunlop, Glen Helen to Glen Helen, 133.33, 16 minutes. 58.7 seconds, Glen Helen to Glen Helen. The pace is really, really high on this restarted PokerStars Senior TT over, of course, 4 laps. They've got to come into Gasoline Alley at the end of this lap 2. But Michael Dunlop and Peter Hickman are absolutely pushing. And will we see a first 130 mile per hour lap by Josh Brooks as well on the Norton? All to be revealed. We'll now, though, head straight up to Ramsey and Roy Moore.
Yeah, certainly you've got the position right. It's Roy Moore, Ramsey, hairpin, just waiting for Bruce Anstey to appear, and certainly that will be the case. I think number 2, Bruce Anstey, yep, not sweeping out, so he's on a nice steady lap again. Just listen to this going away. Oh, second man into Ramsey now, number 1, and the Norton of David Johnson. Looks brilliant as it goes round. There just gets a little bit of a nick on the outset, but the way up to Waterworks now is completely dry with the position of the sun. But here's Michael Dunlop into Ramsey. He's got ahead of James Hillier on the road, 6 and 3 as quickly as they go through. He's not looking back. He knows he's passed him. He's got tunnel vision in this one because he's probably been indicated that there's only 5.5 seconds in it, and that was at Balaf Bridge. So they'll be in for fuel and tyre change, no doubt. So it's going to be pretty hectic back there. We can hear the helicopter, which will be following them over the mountain there, doing the filming. And we'll all be able to look at back and relax in a 2.5 laps time anyway. But certainly Michael Dunlop, we've just got to wait for Dean Harrison to see what the difference is, and then for Peter Hickman after that. But this should be Dean Harrison. Yeah, he's ahead of Conor Cummins now. Dean Harrison as quick as ever going in, just a little bit wider than normal. Conor takes a tighter line, and there is Peter Hickman, and the gap is now 6 seconds. Michael Dunlop, number 6, leads Peter Hickman by the 6-second gap at Ramsey Hairpin on lap number 2. In third place, it's Dean Harrison, who's now 5 seconds down on Peter Hickman. In fourth place, number 2, Bruce Anstey, 5 seconds down on Dean Harrison. And then we'll be expecting Michael Rutter to slot into that 5th place when he arrives. And here he is, number 11, Michael Rutter on the Superstock machine. Gets the back end sideways again, but certainly absolutely knee down. Just look at the knee sliders after they've completed 4 laps round here. So it is in 5th place, number 11, Michael Rutter. He's 8 seconds down on Bruce Anstey. In 6th place, number 3, James Hillier. 6 seconds down on Michael Rutter. That puts Conor Cummins into 7th. Number 7, Conor Cummins, but he's only 0.8 of a second down on James Hillier. And completing the top 8 at the moment, number 1, David Johnson, who's 4.5 seconds down on Conor Cummins. So that could be, I don't think that'll change. Josh Brooks appears to be the man who's kind of on the move a bit. It was only 3 seconds behind Conor Cummins at Balaf, so it'll be interesting. I think Dan Neen would be the next to come into view, but Josh Brooks wouldn't be far away. This is Dan Neen putting it sideways again on the Pence 13 machine, but getting it away nicely. And certainly is 1, 2, 3 come into Ramsey, 3 together, 15 is in the middle of them, William Dunlop. There's Josh Brooks. Oh, it's tight going out, but Josh Brooks absolutely goes up the middle of them as they're going away to Waterworks. Fabulous, fabulous racing indeed. I think it was William Dunlop went off to the left, and somebody else just couldn't quite catch that. It was Gary Johnson who was in the middle of that lot. He went to the left. David Johnson, William Dunlop, it was just unbelievable. But Josh Brooks is up to 8th place here, number 16, Josh Brooks, and he's only 1.5 seconds behind Conor Cummins. That puts David Johnson into 9th place, William Dunlop into 10th, and Dan Neen into 11th. With in 12th place, number 18, Martin Jessup. But there's a bit of a battle on there between Dan Neen and William Dunlop. There's only 1 second in it between them. And Martin Jessup holding on to 12th place. He's 7 seconds down on Dan Neen. And the gap between William Dunlop and David Johnson, I think is where we got up to, was 2 seconds, 2.928 to be precise. But Josh Brooks, that will be an interesting to see what he performs on this lap. But on 4 laps, it's only going to be 1 flying lap, remember. Josh Brooks up to 6th, and some fabulous riding here at Ramsey by him. He's only 1.5 seconds down, mind you, on Conor Cummins. Dan Hegarty and Steve Mercer, Derek Shields, Martin Jessup, all safely through Ramsey. And this is the one that the last of those that we mentioned. Certainly tight to the inside and round there, but certainly at Ramsey Hairpin on lap number 2, it's Michael Dunlop by 6 seconds from Peter Hickman, with Dean Harrison a further 4 seconds back on Hickman, with Bruce Anstey in 4th place, 5 seconds back on Harrison. Back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Dunlop has increased his lead at the bungalow, is still on for a sub-17. He's got to slow down, of course, to come into Gasoline Alley, so it'll be borderline, but what an incredible lap when you consider all the conditions that has been thrown at the mountain course. The roads, no rubber really down compared to last year, and it was like following a Scale Electrics track round with the rubber all the way round the track. Number 2 and 1, lights on the scoreboard. They're at Cronknamona, as is now. He's catching them on the road as well. Number 6, Michael Dunlop. I think he's actually got ahead of David Johnson on the Norton there. And wow, 27.2 ahead of Anstey. Of course, you've got to wait for the H's. Hickman and Harrison, 10 and 9 respectively, to slot in there. But at the bungalow, the lead was 7.8 seconds. We'll keep an eye on the screens before we head down to Chris Kinley. All to be decided in Gasoline Alley. The unknown is Michael Dunlop. We haven't seen him on the Suzuki make a pit stop, but Hickman and Harrison were pretty level. Anstey, well, he was about 8 seconds quicker than Hickman and Harrison in the pits, so we should now be seeing, well, them coming through and slowing down. The klaxon sounds, and the first bike into hits. Not Anstey. It's not Anstey, that's Johnston, and there's Dunlop, so no Anstey. And let's look at the lap, 132.903, so it was not a sub-17 because they're slowing down. 17 minutes and 2 seconds. Chris?
No Anstey and no, Hillier is up the top there, but no Anstey. So number 3, 1 and 6 are in. Timmer Hanlon has the information up there. He's going to give us new rear tyre going in for Michael. He's right down the far end, the left-hand side as you look at it, but it is the Norton. Did a big stoppie when he came in as well, did Dave Johnson. What was the gap then? We believe Anstey has retired, unfortunately. A Bedstead rider, perfectly okay. Bruce Anstey, number 2, a retirement of Bedstead, but the rider is perfectly okay, which is good news. The klaxon goes 2 more times. Michael Dunlop, 3 more times it goes. Dean Harrison here. Here's the Norton of Johnson. Pretty good stop for the Michael Dunlop team so far. David Johnson is in and out. Michael Dunlop, when he came across the line, it'll all change because James Hillier will make a move, and there's Michael Dunlop in and out. So Hillier's behind Dunlop, so it's David Johnson number 1, Michael Dunlop 6, James Hillier 3. As they went across the line, Michael Dunlop from Dean Harrison. The lead was 16.499. In fact, Peter Hickman is there now, and that is 9.282. Michael Dunlop leads Peter Hickman, who is in at the moment. Number 7, number 9, and number 10. And now a bouncing Michael Rutter into the old stop box. He's right coming alongside us here now. Into his pit box he goes there now. So Michael Dunlop, as he went across the track of the beam that they have at the top there, 9.282, that was the gap. Over Peter Hickman, who then in turn Dean Harrison 7.2, then James Hillier in 4th, and there is Peter Hickman away. Listen to this. On the limiter, he's got Dean Harrison. He's got ahead of Dean Harrison now. Peter's away, Dean Harrison away, both well under that 60. Connor's just having a few problems getting that lit up there. Connor Cummins is, but Tim O'Hanlon's working on the time. So it's Dunlop, Hickman, Harrison, Rutter, Hillier, Cummins, and David Johnson. Your top 7, Tim.
Right, well, after the pit stops, Dunlop was 3 seconds slower than Hickman. So it was 9.2. Blown engine from Anstey. 9.2 Dunlop's lead was at Cronknamona, but as I said, he was 59.1 compared to Hickman's at 56.1, so it's down to about a 6-second lead for Michael Dunlop, and Harrison was 4 seconds slower than Hickman.
Yeah, looking at the pit times, so David Johnson 53.3, James Hillier 55.6, 59 for Michael Dunlop, 1 minute 8 for Connor's team there. Who's the quickest so far, Tim? 55, is that 53 for Johnson?
At 53.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick pit stop by the Norton boys. Who's in here at the moment? The other Norton team, 16-15, of course, is William Dunlop. Dan Neen here, the cheers to Dan behind us, number 14, and also Gary Johnson and Tim. That was a bit hectic. What we're going to see at Glen Helen in a few minutes' time. Back to you up the top.
Terrific action down there in Gasoline Alley, and confirm what was just said. Yeah, David Johnson quickest, 53.315. I can confirm that Josh Brooks has done his first 1:30 lap lap. 130.551 miles per hour for Josh Brooks, and there he is, leaving the pits, steady away. Don't be picking up a 32nd. William Dunlop's just had a push there, and well, he's eventually got going, but he's lost time in the pits there. But Peter Hickman about 4 seconds quicker than it was on Sunday, Superbike Sunday. Of course, we had that's about 4 minutes quicker. Of course, Michael Dunlop was the unknown, but he was just under the minute, 59.155. Let's give you some of the speeds that these boys have done here today. Peter Hickman over the 132 as well, 132.254 for Hickman, not quite his quickest ever lap. 132.903 for Michael Dunlop, 132.254 for Hickman. Harrison 131.838. That's for Dean Harrison, and 131.838 is the fastest lap that Dean Harrison has done around the mountain course. 130.860 for Michael Rutter. James Hillier 130.811. Connor Cummins 130.614. Josh Brooks with that first 130 plus lap there for the Australian on the Norton, 130.551. David Johnson 129.884. William Dunlop 129.892. Dan Neen 128.733. Martin Jessup 128.266. Derek Shields has been in it, and Derek Shields 128.780 for Derek Shields, his fastest ever lap round the mountain course. Let's go to Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Lap 3 of a 4-lapper. This is a sprint to the finish now, and here's the first two machines on the road. The first one, Dave Johnson. But tracking him, and only a few yards behind him, it's Michael Dunlop, closely followed by James Hillier. So Dunlop, Hillier, Johnson all through here on their third lap. And we have to wait for Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison before we can compile that leaderboard. But Michael Dunlop having a great race. Everything just falling into place for him. And just looking at the gap before the pit lane, 21:30. It was about 40, about 32, 33 seconds to James Hillier, the gap going into the pits. And coming out, the gap is 33 seconds. So it looks like everyone's just about held station, but we do need Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison just to get the final topping on that. There is Peter Hickman and there is Dean Harrison. So lap 3 at Glen Helen, Michael Dunlop leads Peter Hickman by 8 seconds. Dean Harrison is third. He's 12 seconds back on Peter Hickman. Here's Connor. Nice and tidy from the big guy, holding 6th place at the grandstand. We've got him provisionally 6th place here now, but we will need number 11, Michael Rutter, before we can confirm that. But Connor just edging towards a spot in the top 5 here, and he is at the moment 6th place, just 4-5 seconds behind Dave Johnson. Here's Michael Rutter now. Rutter, really good speed on the exit of that corner, and Rutter indeed just pushes everybody down a place. He drops into 5th position on that leaderboard. So Michael Rutter, number 11, he is in 5th position, just 4 seconds down on 4th place James Hillier. Dave Johnson goes in behind Michael Rutter. That's number 1, Dave Johnson. He is 10 seconds down on Rutter. And Connor Cummins, number 7, holds 7th place. And he is just 4.6, we call it 5 seconds behind Dave Johnson. So it is Michael Dunlop in charge now, and the lead, it was a little bit higher going into the grandstand. It was 9 seconds the lead from Peter Hickman. Hickey's managed to pick up just 2 seconds in that pit stop, so great work from the Smiths BMW racing team. And we await the next man on the road. It could be Josh Brooks. It is Josh Brooks. And a great looking bike, Josh Brooks into 6th place. 15, William Dunlop through as well, holding 9th position on the entry to the grandstand, but Josh Brooks up to 6th place. That's taken an extra spot there, and he just nips ahead of Dave Johnson. That's 12, Gary Johnson through. and closely followed on the road by Dan Neen. Just not quite working for Dan Neen this afternoon. Went well for him in the Superstock race, but today he is in 10th place at the moment. 10th place for Dan Neen, and he is 28 seconds behind 9th place William Dunlop. So a lot of work for Dan Neen to do in the closing stages, but at the top end we've got 20 seconds covering the top three: Michael Dunlop, Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison. And it's looking like it's Michael Dunlop's race to win, but we do have a lap and a bit to go yet. Martin Jessup through here. Martin Jessup at the grandstand was in 11th place. We have him now in 10th, so he's picked off a place in pit lane. And Martin Jessup topped the Sulby Speed Trap on lap 2 as well, 191.7. So that Riders Motorcycles BMW from Martin Jessup going particularly well in the straight line down that Sulby Straight, and topping the Speed Trap timings with 191.7. Great racing from Martin. The top of the leaderboard, though, in the lead, it's number 6, Michael Dunlop. He has an 8-second advantage over number 10, Peter Hickman. In third place, it's number 9, Dean Harrison, who is 12 seconds behind Hickman. In fourth place, number 3, James Hillier, 13 seconds back on Dean Harrison. In fifth place, number 11, Michael Rutter. He is 4 seconds down on James Hillier. In sixth place, number 16, Josh Brooks. He is 8 seconds down on Michael Rutter. In seventh place, number 1, Dave Johnson. He is 2 seconds down on Josh Brooks. In 8th place, number 7, Connor Cummins. He is 5 seconds down on Dave Johnson. In 9th place, number 15, William Dunlop. He is 8 seconds down on Connor. And in 10th place, number 18, Martin Jessup, who is 17 seconds down on William Dunlop. Back to you at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising. Manx Radio TT.
Confirm that Michael Dunlop's lead fractionally down at Ballaugh Bridge, 7.3 the lead over number 10, Peter Hickman. Retirement, Steve Mercer in the pits and Dan Stewart, number 21 and 17 of the bike, number 17 Mercer, 21 Stewart, also in the pits, Dan Stewart, and one out at the Mountain Mile, perfectly okay, number 77 Rob Hodson. Dan Cooper, 60.4 in Gasoline Alley, a 30-second penalty. Craig Neve, still a 30-second penalty, but he was 68.058 in pits here. So, what a race this is. Where's Michael Dunlop? What changes have they made to the bike in the brief interlude between the first and the second? New rear shock it was, wasn't it? Yes, he did. That was mentioned. 7.3 the lead at Ballaugh. Let's find out what it's going to be at Ramsey Hairpin. Roy Moore.
Well, he's certainly making good use of that rear shock, because I think he has broken the beam down. Now leading on the road from James Hillier and David Johnson and Michael Dunlop. Yep, that back shock is keeping that back tyre absolutely planted. And there's number 1, David Johnson through. And there's James Hillier, slightly wider line this occasion for him. But 1, 2, 3, they're through as quickly as that. But the leader on the road and the leader in the race as they went over Ballaugh Bridge was Michael Dunlop, but Peter Hickman was sticking with him. Just a couple of fractions a second picked off there on the run from Glen Helen, the tricky run from Glen Helen to Ballaugh Bridge. But that bumpy bit into Ramsey is maybe where the difference has been made by the fitting of that piece of equipment, the new rear shock there for Michael Dunlop. He's certainly trying hard. He's fully aware, I would think. He was asking for boards at Craig Nabar to indicate what it would be. I can tell you that the lead, if Peter Hickman is here now, we were just checking that out. Yeah, it's gone up to 8 seconds now, 8.5 seconds. And there's Dean Harrison, so he will be in that third place, I would suggest. Let's just check it down. It certainly is. The leader at Ramsey Hairpin on lap number 3 is number 6, Michael Dunlop, from number 10, Peter Hickman, by 8.5 seconds. In third place, number 9, Dean Harrison, 14 seconds down on Hickman. In fourth place, number 3, James Hillier. That's Connor Cummins, you can hear going through in the background. In fourth place, number 3, James Hillier, 12 seconds down on Dean Harrison. Fifth for number 1, but that could change with the arrival of Michael Rutter, and I would suggest it would. Yes, the beam has been broken. Fifth for number 11, Michael Rutter. Here he is now at Ramsey. Same, not quite as sideways in previous laps, but certainly well through. And he's only 7 seconds down on James Hillier in fourth. He holds, though, a 10-second advantage over number 1, David Johnson, who was in 6th place. Within 7th place, number 7, Connor Cummins, 8 seconds down on David Johnson. That is the way that they went. But Josh Brooks maintaining that position in 6th, so we'll have to wait for him to get here to Ramsey. And, of course, William Dunlop and Martin Jessup and Dan Neen, Gary Johnson will be the others, going well, too. In 13th through Buildup Bridge was 29, Jamie Coward, with 14th, Dan Hegarty. And Horst Seiger, after that off at the Gooseneck in the first race, going well as well. And we also noticed Michael Russell was very neat and tidy through here, as were number 33, Michael Sweeney, and number 24, Sean Anderson, who are circulating together. So good riding by them here at Ramsey Hairpin. Here's the next machine in, though, and that is number 16, Josh Brooks. He hasn't got any company this time. And away he goes, because Michael Dunlop now is down the centre of the road and just runs out wide, but that's the same line he takes every time. Josh Brooks in 6th place, 9 seconds down on Michael Rutter, but he's only half a second now ahead of David Johnson, number 1. So the Battle of the Nortons is going to be resolved 16 and 1, 6th and 7th here at Ramsey Hairpin, and only half a second in it as number 12 is here now. That's Gary Johnson, and followed by Dan Neen, number 14. No back end squirreling there. He must have had a relatively slow pit stop if he dropped that time on the run to Glen Helen. How do they slot into the equation? Well, it's 8th for number 7, Connor Cummins, 8 seconds down on David Johnson. 9th now for 15, William Dunlop, 8 seconds down on Connor Cummins. This is Martin Jessup, certainly is. So where does he slot in? He slots into 10th place, number 18, Martin Jessup, 17 seconds down on William Dunlop. That puts Dan Neen, number 14, into 11th place, 17 seconds down on Martin Jessup, though. And Gary Johnson, of the riders through so far, number 12, Gary Johnson, he is 16 seconds down on Dan Neen. Still to come here will be James Cowton, Daley Matheson, Horst Seiger, Phil Crow, Brian McCormick, and that's Sean Anderson up to 20th at Buildup Bridge on this lap. Dominic Herbertson, Dan Cooper, Michael Sweeney all going well, as is Ivan Linton, not having the best of days, down to 24th there, number 20 Ivan Linton, as they went through Buildup Bridge. But at the moment at Ramsey Hairpin, nobody else here, and certainly it looks as though Michael Dunlop holding on to that 8-second advantage. We might just have time at the bungalow. It's Michael Dunlop now, 10 seconds ahead of Peter Hickman, with Dean Harrison 14 seconds down on Hickman. Bungalow, lap 3, back to the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising.
Manx Radio TT.
Cronknamona, bang on cue. Number 6, Michael Dunlop. Light is on there on the scoreboard. I can tell you that number 30, Sam West, has stopped or retired in the pits. 28, Derek Shields, we were saying how well he was going. He's retired at Laurel Bank. And number 51, Davy Morgan, retired in the pits. Light also now on for number 3 and number 1 at Cronknamona. So that's James Hillier and David Johnson, respectively. But we await, of course, Michael Dunlop to come into view. He's going through that little tricky bit, but he's well on the pace, and that 9.9 second advantage that he enjoys over Hickman just isn't enough. And, of course, he's also into a rather uncharted territory on this Bennett Suzuki, but so far it's passing it with flying colours. So we look up the road to see Michael Dunlop. First on the road, here he is. And 125.2, of course, including that pit stop. Hillier has lost the toe now from Michael Dunlop. And there is David Johnson through as well, and definitely Harrison's getting a bit of a toe from Hickman, but Hillier just dropped back there, so Dunlop has broken the stranglehold that Hillier would have had, almost trying to hang on to his coattails there. The gap then between Michael Dunlop, number 6, and number 3, James Hillier, 37.9 seconds. But it's Peter Hickman, number 10, that we need to see. Should be next interview any second now here at the grandstand. What a week he's had. Podiums 4 times. Could it be 5? Which step will it be? Here's Peter Hickman now. And I can tell you that the gap is 10.6, so pretty much the same as it was there at Cronknamona. Dean Harrison through as well, and Hickman knows that he's just got to press on, and he's got ahead of Harrison again. They were getting that toe, but that seems to have been broken a little bit as well. So Dean Harrison is into third. He's 15.2 seconds down on number 10, Peter Hickman, who in turn is 10.6 down on number 6, Michael Dunlop. Connor Cummins through to start his last lap, 11.4 seconds down on the Norton of David Johnson. David Johnson is in 5th. He in turn is 21.5 seconds down on number 3, and that is James Hillier, who is in 4th, but Michael Rutter has just slotted that BMW in there. Remember, he's on the super stock rather than the super bike. Rutter is into 5th. So let's just consolidate that leaderboard. Number 6, Michael Dunlop, leads by 10.6 seconds from number 10, Peter Hickman. Peter Hickman in turn is 15.2 seconds ahead of number 9, Dean Harrison. Harrison in turn is 12 seconds ahead of number 3, James Hillier. Hillier is 9.6 ahead of number 11, Michael Rutter, and then it's David Johnson. But let's watch out for Josh Brooks. Josh Brooks is through Cronknamona. Another retirement, Daniel Cooper, number 27 at Ballaugh Bridge. Rider perfectly okay. And Josh Brooks and the Norton should be coming into our sights here at the grandstand. Let's listen to him go past. Josh Brooks then in 6th. He is 9.9 behind Rutter, but he is 2 seconds ahead of David Johnson. So I think David Johnson's getting quicker. In fact, he was quicker on that lap, including the pit stop, at 123.8 compared to Josh Brooks, 123.4. So it's Aussie Pride and Norton Pride being battled out by number 16, Josh Brooks, and number 1, David Johnson. Michael Dunlop then, 10.6. Is he going to get to Glen Helen? Is he going to get to Ramsey Hairpin? Will he make it back to the grandstand? All will be revealed, but it's looking promising on that Bennett Suzuki as through go Gary Johnson and then Dan Neen. Dan Neen slots into 10th. Gary Johnson 11th. William Dunlop is 9th. Number 15, 7.8 behind Connor Cummins, who is in 8th place, number 7. And Connor in turn is 11.4 back on number 1, David Johnson. Martin Jessup into 10th now, 17.7 seconds down on William Dunlop, who's 9th. Then it's Dan Neen, and then it's Gary Johnson. Michael Dunlop, though, is our leader. Michael Dunlop on the Suzuki, 10.6 ahead of number 10, Peter Hickman on the BMW, and he is 15.2 ahead of number 9, Dean Harrison on the Kawasaki. 4th, James Hillier, and we go to Glen Helen and Dave Christian.
Michael Dunlop's just gone through, leader on the road, but right behind him, James Hillier and Davo Johnson. Lots of waves from the crowd from Michael Dunlop as he came through, and we'd still need the arrival of numbers 10 and 9, but no problems looking there for Michael Dunlop. He was fast and steady, took a great line through the corner. Everything looked perfectly A-OK for him, and it is just Peter Hickman now. The gap at the grandstand, 10.6 seconds. That's going to be a tall order to pull back on Michael Dunlop when he's showing this sort of form, but Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison I don't know, we're now up to a gap of 26 seconds nearly split in the top three, and really those sort of time differences are too much to make up. Here's Peter Hickman, but he gets applause from the crowd as he comes through, and Dean Harrison tucks in right behind him. It was 10.635 at the grandstand. It's 11.9 now, so Michael Dunlop still has the hammer down. 12 seconds we'll call that. 11.919 rounded up to 12 seconds, so Michael Dunlop, number 6, leads Peter Hickman, number 10, by 12 seconds at Glen Helen on the last lap. In third place, Dean Harrison, number 9. He is 13 seconds behind Peter Hickman. So that gap is just extending now. Michael Dunlop easing away, but here's the big guy, Connor Cummins. 8th place he was at the grandstand, but we'll need I think Michael Rutter and Josh Brooks before we can confirm Connor's place. Here's Michael Rutter now. Again, he just seems to carry that little bit of extra corner speed here. And Michael Rutter, very, very smooth. Great line through the bend. And 5th place for Rutter. And the gap is still extending. James Hillier in 4th place, just easing away from Rutter. He's taken another second or so out of him between the grandstand and here. The gap from 4th, whereas number 3, James Hillier, into 5th place, number 11, Michael Rutter, is 10 seconds now. 10 seconds the gap. It was 9 at the grandstand. 6th place at the moment is Dave Johnson, but we will need number 16 Josh Brooks to come through before we can confirm that. And Josh Brooks can't be too far away now. He was on the road just after Michael Rutter, and so Brooks should be making his appearance here in any time now. We're getting loud engine noise coming up the valley. I think I can hear it in the background. Yep, definitely, it is the Norton. It is Josh Brooks. Waves and applause for Josh Brooks as well. He does hold that 6th position. So Josh Brooks, number 16, in 6th place. He is 12 seconds behind 5th place Michael Rutter. That's 15, William Dunlop. And he's just into 9th place, and Connor Cummins confirmed now in 8th place. Dave Johnson slipping down the order. Dave Johnson in 7th, but the gap between him and Josh Brooks is 3/4 of a second now. It's 2 seconds before, so the two Nortons having a right old scrap there in 6th and 7th place. Just having a little look further down the order, Daley Matheson, we noted, number 56, rounding off a great week for him with 16th place. That was at Glen Helen on lap 3. 2 more through now, though. Gary Johnson's the first one. Dan Neen is the second. They're together on the road, but Dan Neen ahead on corrected time. Dan Neen just at the moment inside the top 10, but I think Martin Jessup might just shove him out, and he does. Martin Jessup into 10th place. And Jessup still got the fastest time down that Sulby speed trap, although with Michael Dunlop absolutely blasting his way around on this final lap, that might just fall to him depending on the gearing. So Martin Jessup 10th, Dan Neen into 11th, Gary Johnson 12th, and that is the same positions they occupied at the grandstand. Everybody has held station here, and no one changing. The only real gap there is that David Johnson, Josh Brooks, Norton battle, where 6th place Josh Brooks is only 3/4 of a second ahead of 7th place Dave Johnson. But your leaderboard at Glen Helen on the last lap of this 4-lap PokerStars Senior TT, it's number 6, Michael Dunlop leads number 10, Peter Hickman, by 12 seconds. In 3rd place, number 9, Dean Harrison, who is 13 seconds back on Hickman. In 4th place, number 3, James Hillier, who is 14 seconds down on Harrison. And in 5th place, making up your top 5, number 11, Michael Rutter, who was 10 seconds down on 4th place Hillier. And with that, we'll go back to the Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising at the grandstand.
Manx Radio TT Race Commentary is brought to you by RL360.
Remember the golden age of advertising, when just by hearing the music, you'd think of the brand. Now, MediaTek Advertising is creating that same brand magic for the 21st century with the creation of cost-effective advertising, perfectly placed to be seen at the right time in the right place by the right audience. For long-lasting solutions that work worldwide, visit mediatek.im.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT, powered by MediaTek Advertising.
Manx Radio TT.
Well, looking at Buildup Bridge, Michael Dunlop, 11.5. It's pretty much the same as it was at Glen Helen, slightly reduced. Dean Harrison's 11.5 as well, back on Hickman in third. So it's 6 from 10 from 9. Then James Hillier, 15.4 down on Harrison in fourth. In fifth, it's number 11, Michael Rutter, who's 11.2 down on Hillier. David Johnson has now just got ahead of Josh Brooks. So the Aussies have switched on the Nortons, 0.5 a second between them, but it's David Johnson who's got ahead of Josh Brooks. Let's go to Roy Moore at Ramsey Hairpin.
And Michael Dunlop, not the person to kind of slacken the pace off, because he is here at Ramsey, or he's broken the beam down the road, and will be an indication that he will be flying into Ramsey Hairpin for lap number 4, the last lap. Back end just twitches a little bit there, but certainly well under control, and doesn't look over his left shoulder, just get his head down, because here's Dave Hillier and number 1 straight in as well. So we didn't quite get that James Hillier and David Johnson absolutely together as they go through, and it certainly will be interesting to see whether Hillier gets the tow or number 1 David Johnson gets the tow over the mountain. So it's incidental on the scoreboards on the last lap here at Ramsey, because at Buildup Bridge there was 11.5 seconds in it between Michael Dunlop and Peter Hickman, but they haven't as yet arrived. They won't be far away. Peter Hickman at Ramsey. Next one should be interview. He's quick. Oh, is he quick? But he's got it anchored up and round, and right behind him is Dean Harrison. So that's going to be another one that the helicopter can follow over the mountain. 10 and 9. Peter Hickman 11 seconds. It's fraction down. It's 11.557 at Buildup Bridge. At Ramsey here it's 11.037. But the advantage that Michael Dunlop, number 6, holds over Peter Hickman, and it's virtually the same, the distance between in second place Peter Hickman and in third place Dean Harrison. But that doesn't take much working out, because it's the visual bit you see on the roads with them starting 9 and 10. We're expecting James Hillier to go through, but it'll be Michael Rutter that will probably slot into here, as Connor Cummins is here now, and here is number 11 Michael Rutter, and he's given a little bit of stepping out on the back wheel as well, just as a kind of a shake of the head as he goes through. But certainly Michael Rutter 8 seconds down on James Hillier for that 5th and 4th place. In 4th place it is James Hillier. That was no different at Buildup. And then Michael Rutter, what was the difference? Michael Rutter is on the pace, because he's taken 3 seconds out of James Hillier on the run from Buildup Bridge here to Ramsey. So now it's in 4th place, number 3, James Hillier, 18 seconds down on Dean Harrison, but now only 8.2 seconds ahead of in 5th place, number 11, Michael Rutter. Michael Rutter in turn is 12.5 seconds ahead of in 6th place, number 1, David Johnson, who in turn is 21 seconds ahead of in 7th place going through here, number 7, Connor Cummins. But the roar of the Norton will be not too far away from Ramsey, number 16, Josh Brooks. He was only half a second down on his teammate David Johnson at Buildup Bridge. Here he is into Ramsey, and he's trying hard. He is really on the pace as Josh Brooks. I would suggest, no, it's still there. It's only 0.3 of a second, and the advantage is being held by number 1, David Johnson, over Josh Brooks by only 0.3 of a second here at Ramsey. But the way Josh Brooks came in there, certainly he does know the difference, I would suggest. Number 15, William Dunlop, is the next to go through. Where does William slot into? He slots into 9th place, number 15, William Dunlop, but he's 9 seconds down on Connor Cummins. So that is the current update here as they head over the mountain now. Michael Dunlop has made the bungalow on the Suzuki. So Suzuki wins have been quite a few going back to the early days. Ito, I think, was the first man to win on a 50, or was it Hugh Anderson? Anyway, it was in the lower capacity classes. Michael Dunlop is through the bungalow, as is James Hillier, as is David Johnson. As into Ramsey Hairpin comes number 18, Martin Jessup. Where does he slot into? He's into 10th place. He's 7 seconds down on William Dunlop, but a full minute ahead. Number 12 is here now. That's Gary Johnson. So 12th place for him. Up into 11th place now goes Dan Neen. 56 seconds down, though, on Martin Jessup. and certainly he probably will be aware of that as well as he heads over through the bungalow. Peter Hickman maintaining that 11 seconds difference between Michael Dunlop and himself, but still holding on to second place. And the same margin, the 11-second margin, is then transferred, the difference between himself and number 9, Dean Harrison. Going through the bungalow, it was fourth place for 3, James Hillier, 21 seconds down on Dean Harrison. But that could be changed. Michael Rutter, 8 seconds. I wonder what the difference will be up there at the bungalow. But certainly we've been quite fortunate to get this second start out, really, because the way things are, I don't think that rain that is promised is not too far away. So with the news from Ramsey Hairpin, it's Michael Dunlop, well, not from the Ramsey Hairpin, from the bungalow. It's Michael Dunlop on the final descent down there. He holding 11-second advantage over Peter Hickman, who in turn is 11 seconds ahead of him in third place, number 9, Dean Harrison. 21 seconds down then is James Hillier. And then in fifth place, 11, Michael Rutter, 5. So he's made another 3-second input into that. That's one to watch out. The battle between number 11, Michael Rutter, and number 3, James Hillier, is down now to 5 seconds at the bungalow on the last lap. Those are 2 places that could change. David Johnson 6th, Connor Cummins 7th. Back to the grandstand.
Couple more retirements to give you, although I should say, first of all, the light has just flicked on at Cronknamona for Michael Dunlop, so he's only got a few miles to go to bring that Bennett Suzuki home in first for a TT win. Ivan Linton, number 20, is retired in the pits. Number 34, Ben Wiley, retired at the bungalow, perfectly okay. And number 49, Mark Parrott, a retirement in the pits. So also now at Cronknamona, James Hillier, number 3, and David Johnson, number 1 on the Norton. The other guys involved in the podium, though, Peter Hickman and Dean Harrison, higher numbers in the starting order. So they're 10 for Hickman, 9 for Harrison. But Michael Dunlop has put in a furious 4 laps here around the TT mountain course. The checkered flag is ready for him. It's going to wave once again for Michael Dunlop. He does it, his 15th TT win. He moves ahead of Mike Hailwood, and he's won the PokerStars Senior TT for the 2nd year in a row and the 3rd time in the last 4 years. Congratulations to Michael Dunlop and to Bennett Suzuki. 2 together across the line. First of them was David Johnson. And James Hillier, also a last lap for Michael Dunlop of 131.711. Hillier 130.568. And for David Johnson, 130.798. Going back to Cronknamona, the light is on for number 10, Peter Hickman, and Dean Harrison, number 9. And they should be into view to complete our podium as Dunlop heads towards what presumably going to be a burnout in the winner's enclosure. Let's see who's second and third coming through together. And Hickman, yeah, little wheelie as he goes across the line. Hickman is second, Harrison third. There's noise in the winner's enclosure.
Ha! No words whatsoever. Listen to this. Michael Dunlop is absolutely beside himself there. Well done to Gary and the team. Well done, boys. A win for Michael Dunlop on the big bike. Well, we had a massive disappointment last Sunday. It was, of course, with the thing breaking down, but there's a lot of work gone into this. The Bennett's guys are there. Just hang on to the bike. Yes, absolutely. The Hawk Racing team, they've done it. He just gets off the bike, crouches down, gets a big hug off the team, and we'll grab him with him for a word in a minute. Marty Marlowe's in to also give him a big hug too, long-time supporter of Michael. Well, absolutely incredible. 15 TT wins. All the hard work, all the changes that they had to do with the bike when the first race got stopped. Second and third are just coming in here now. Here's Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison into that third place, so well done for Dino. And also well done to Peter Hickman. Excellent stuff for Peter Hickman too. Stuart Hickens in, picks him up and nearly drops him as well. And he wants to be careful. Pat van Dunlop goes in to give him a few words as well. So we'll just jump round to Michael in a minute. We'll let him take his gloves off. Having a little look. He's just about to take the little D-ring off on the RI helmet. And there's Peter Hickman in. There's Hickey doing a big burnout as well. Oh dear me. 15 times an Isle of Man TT race winner. How does that feel, young fella?
Today we made the impossible possible. brand new motorbike. Steve, Stuart, the boys, Leo, all the boys that done everything they did to make this. It was hard work. I was under a bit of pressure there. I thought I was easing her. I tried to go as easy on her as I could, but the big all done as well. The first race straight away, we wanted that. We could have the double, but can't say enough to the big man's. Bike never missed a beat. We just had a problem in the first start of the race, but
is that a rear shock?
Nobody. Everybody just remembers the senior.
Of course, and you've won the big bike classes now on how many manufacturers?
Too many to count. I told you, bring me here and anything, I'll win on it.
Nearly 133 mile in a lap coming into the pit stop as well. What was the change you made before the start of the restart? Was it the rear shock you did? Lots of adjustments?
We went the wrong way with it a wee bit, but we maybe went the wrong way, but it worked. Yes, thanks very much. And we had a second chance, second bite at the cherry, and can't say enough to my team, even the Hickens. Brand new motorbike. What all can I say?
Tell us about the rest of the race conditions out there, Michael. The reaction you were getting from our commentators around the circuit says it all, doesn't it, about you? About you've taken it by the scruff. I nearly said by something else. But you've taken it by the scruff of the neck and you've showed them again.
Yeah. I knew I could do it. We just had to get the package. First race let us down a wee bit. Can't say enough to Steve. He's worked. If people just understand what actually happened this week, they wouldn't understand how far we came. We had a bit of issues and a couple of ways of form, but we pulled through them. Genuinely could have went faster, yes. We just wanted to save what we had just in case. I didn't know what way it would go. But another little lady coming home, that's the main thing.
You're getting a big lady up there in a minute. But the Northwest 200 in the second Superbike race, you could see it. The potential was there. It was coming, wasn't it?
It was coming, yeah. It was definitely coming. And if I had what I had now at the Northwest, I think it's going to be a different story. But we worked hard. I've been sore on Stuart and Steve as well. I've been very sore on them to make. I think sometimes they think I'm being a prick, but I think I was sore on them just to get this. This is the end product. This is what we wanted. And senior TT, can't complain.
You don't want to be that side. You don't want to be that side.
No.
You want to be in here.
The only time I want to be here is when I want to be in the middle, and that's it. So we got here again. What?
You're speechless, and that's a first.
We stopped the domination, that's all I say.
Good man. Well done, Michael.
Thank you.
Cheers. Ladies and gentlemen, your senior TT winner. I'm sure the crowd are going to give him a big cheer there. Thank you, guys. And we'll move round and get into Peter Hickman. Just doing a little piece for the TV at the moment. And sorry, the Bennett's guys just tries to rugby tackle me down. I'm sure Rebecca and the team. Rebecca, hey, that'll do, won't it? The senior TT second place, Rebecca from Smiths.
Yeah, we'll take that one. It's been a great week for Pete and for the team, and we couldn't be happier with this. It feels like a win.
It'll do, won't it? He was chasing them down, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, the last thing he just said to me then was I did everything I could, and we couldn't ask for any more. Pit stop was faultless, and we'll really enjoy this one.
I'm sure you will. Thank you very much, Rebecca, for that. Yeah, we'll just let him finish off with Craig, and then we'll grab a quick word with Peter Hickman, of course. On the Smith Triumph at number 10, Dean Harrison is in again, and another great performance, and we need to work this out. But I think that we'll just jump in. Sorry, go on, no, so you can look to that man there. Peter, what a TT. This caps it off, doesn't it, really? I know you'd like to be in the middle bit there, but this is not a bad return, is it, from where we were 2 weeks ago?
No, absolutely. Yeah, mega. Bikes run mint. Team's been absolutely mega. The pit stop, I think, was a lot faster that time as well. We worked out what we needed to do and how we needed to do it. And no, the race ran really good. Just Michael was just a bit too strong for us today.
4 seconds, I think you improved on your pit stops.
Yeah, 4 seconds is a big chunk, isn't it? And I nearly won the first Superbike race for that. But hey, you live and learn, don't you? And just a huge thanks to everybody, all the supporters, the team, Smiths Racing BMW, all my sponsors. All the fans out there, I was getting pit boards from all sorts of different people that I didn't even know all the way around, and everyone's clapping and waving and cheering, and it's fantastic. It's mega to ride around here with an atmosphere like that.
How's the body after the 2 weeks? I know you got a bit of a sore leg going on.
Yeah, I've had a sore leg for the last few days, but to be fair, in that race then, it didn't bother me at all, so I don't know whether that was adrenaline or what, but I had a massage on it a couple of days ago from a lady we know, Samai, and she was, I think she's probably sorted my leg out more than anything, and that's helped a lot.
I think if I worked that out rightly, you're the most consistent. That probably we'll have to get a confirm we make the TT champion, solo champion.
Hey, that would be nice.
We'll get it confirmed, but I'm pretty sure with your podiums, I think that'll probably work out all right.
Yeah, that'd be absolutely brilliant if that's the case. Then yeah, I'm well happy.
We'll get that confirmed, and you'll know later on at the prize pay station. Well done, Pete.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot to everyone. Cheers.
Thank you very much to Peter Hickman in second, and thanks to the Smiths team for letting us in. And well done, Stevie boys. Just get past. Well done, chaps. Passed you there very quickly. Just past Michael as well. He's just getting a bit more fluid on board, and we'll go to the front of the Silicon Engineering bike, and the little one's there once again, and we'll get round here and past Dino and just try and grab a word of them. In fact, if we stand this way, we're told to stand this way so the photographers can get us, eh? Me and you are ugly mugs on these photographs. Not good, is it?
No, exactly. That's why I'm wearing a cap.
That'll do, though, Dino, after a long couple of weeks, a podium in the senior TT.
Yeah, it's over the moon. That's why it's the plan with this year. If we could try and get a superbike podium, we've gone home with 2, so didn't quite materialise in the other classes, but a bit of bad luck and a bit from me, but over the moon with that. Personal best 132, so I'm not going to complain. Time now to go to the beer tent and have a few beers, I think.
132 as well, Dino. That's some pretty good lap. And of course, with your dad a bit earlier on today, good day for the Harrison team.
Yeah, exactly. I know it's been absolutely faultless, to be honest. So over the moon, that's I don't know what to say really. Just we pressed hard from lap 1 and see where we were with P2, P3, and just got the head down.
And Hickey went past you, the pit stop, obviously, and he caught back up. Was he dragging you along a little bit as well?
Yeah, no, I had a bit of a gap in my toes, and I started to reel him back in a bit because I got into a bit of the rhythm because I only had a 12-second advantage on 4th. I don't know who were 4th.
4th was, pardon? James Hilliard was, yeah, 4th, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, he was P12, and I pulled a bit of a gap on him, and I wanted to make sure I definitely had 3rd, so I got stuck in the last lap.
Dean Harrison, TT, senior TT podium. How does that feel?
Not really.
Mr. Understatement.
We need a few beers to let it sink in.
Well done, Dino. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done to all the team. OK, we'll hand it back to you, Tim. There's the top 3 in the PokerStars Senior TT. Lots of photographs on the winners' enclosure here. Now going on the Manx Radio TT Facebook for you to have a little look at. Over to you, Tim.
All under 30 as well in that winners' enclosure. Michael Dunlop, 28. Peter Hickman, 29. And Dean Harrison, 28. So 4th was number 3, James Hillier. 5th, number 11, Michael Rutter. 6th, number 16, Josh Brooks. So he managed to pip his Aussie teammate on the Norton. 7th was David Johnson, number 1. 8th was number 7, Connor Cummins. 9th was Martin Jessup, number 18. 10th was number 15, William Dunlop. 11th was number 29, Jamie Coward on the Radcliffe Racing BMW. Great result from him. 13th was number 56, Daly Matheson. 14th, number 19, Daniel Hegarty. 15th, number 25. And 25 is James Cowton. Just looking at 13th, Daly Matheson there, number 56. Great the performance from him. 16th, number 12, Gary Johnson. 17th, number 36, Philip Crow. 18th, number 22, Horst Seiger. 19th, number 24, Sean Anderson. Nice to see him get a finish. 20th, number 38, Dominic Herbertson. 21st, number 43, Brian McCormack. 22nd, number 33, Michael Sweeney. 23rd was number 32, Stefano Benetti. 24th, number 44, Craig Neve. 25th was number 72, Barry Ferber. 26th, number 57, Andrew Dudgeon. And 27th, and just across there was Ryan Neen. So those are the starters that we have. And finishers at the moment. Ryan Neen, the last of those. Let's get a word with Dave Christian then, and we'll go to Roy as well. Your thoughts, gentlemen? A 4-lap thriller and another different manufacturer for Michael Dunlop to win on. He could win on a gate, Dave Christian.
Yes, probably, and absolutely tremendous for him. Because he took that race right from the start and dominated really. He talked about the end of domination. I just seen domination right from the off. But can't take anything away from Michael. He's won that one, and he's won it handsomely. Peter Hickman, what a week for him. Absolutely brilliant for Peter. And at one stage looked like, certainly in the first part of the race, he might just have it, but Michael's squared it off in the second run, and excellent. Good finish from Connor. 8th place for number 7, Connor Cummins. Probably not what he was not what he was hoping for, but given that he's had a problem with his wrist, I think he'll take that one. And you're right to highlight Daly Matheson, Tim, number 56 with a 13th place finish. We've been watching him most of the week, and he's been impressively moving up the leaderboards in just about every class. A bit further down, number 72, Barry Ferber, just crept in there. He's finished 25th. Barry's had a pretty good run this week as well, and it's another name we've been watching out for. And it's great to watch these riders in the middle order progressing and developing and gradually getting faster and faster. And as long as that continues, the sport's got a great future. All that remains for me to do is give a few thanks. Thanks to Darren Leeming and Roy Sweetman here in the box with me. Darren on engineering duty and Roy on timekeeping. Big thank you to everybody in the Orange Army. They've done a fantastic job all week, and sometimes with a little bit of pressure on them as well. But you're all heroes, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you very much. You've done a fantastic job. A big thank you for all the fans and supporters that have been out around the course. Without them, there wouldn't be a race. Ride safely and come back next year. And finally, the thoughts are with Davy Lambert, Jochen van den Hoek and Alan Bonner, who are waiting to take their last checkered flag.
Up north to Roy Moore and some closing thoughts from the Ramsey hairpin commentary box.
Just echoing those final thoughts of Dave Christian, as you get older, it's more difficult to put it in perspective, really, to be fair, but what will be remembered about 2017, I'm sure, is quite an emotional 2 weeks with the weather, the delays, the patience of the riders in getting organised and getting sorted out, the patience of those who have come over here to watch, and just the way everything goes. My sincere thanks will go all to Matty Cunningham, who is the engineer here at Ramsey, but it's not all over for us this week. We'll be meeting up again down there at Blount tomorrow, and just completed his 46th year on the timekeeping. Sincere thanks, because he came in with some lovely little antidotes. Pat O'Hanlon, and certainly it would be there. Just noticed that Phil Crow did 128 last lap, and would you believe, in 27th place, the average speed was 120 miles an hour. That shows you the absolute quality of the TT as it progresses. 2017, 2018 next year, what will it hold? We might be here, we don't know, but certainly the way things are going, it's been an emotional 2 weeks. So from Ramsey Hairpin for the last time, again echoing Dave Christian's final thoughts there from Glen Helen, this is Roy Moore returning you over the mountain to Tim Glover at the grandstand.
Thank you very much, Roy Moore. And let's just see if we can go a little bit further down, see if we've any more finishers here. And